Hi, I'm Duane Duggan, Remax of Boulder podcast. The reason we're here today is we have sensed so much frustration in the marketplace by our buyers that are really frustrated about how many homes are available on the market, or actually the lack of homes on the market. So today we wanted to cover the top reasons why there's no inventory in our marketplace. It's pretty interesting in the marketplace today that almost everything that comes up, especially in what I call the normal people price ranges, which is in Boulder maybe under $1 million, there's usually multiple offers and multiple contracts that come in on a property all at once. So again, buyers are very frustrated, and the most common question they're asking today is why in the world there is no inventory. So there's about 14 reasons that we've come up with why there's no inventory. The first one, and probably the most important one, is that during the downturn, the builders just didn't build enough homes to keep up with population. And in general terms, from 2007 to 2012, about 300,000 homes were being built as a nation. And we actually needed about 1.5 million homes just to keep up with population. So each year during the recession, there were not enough homes being built. And then when you look at the statistics today, there's still not 1.5 million homes being built a year. So it's going to be a long time just in sheer numbers as far as before the new home builders catch up with the demand for housing. The second reason that inventory is so tight is that population continues to rise in Colorado. Colorado is actually the fourth fastest growing state in the nation. So people are coming in at a rapid rate, both because of immigration and because of new births in our area. So again, population is a big factor of why things are kind of tight right now. The next factor is, which is number 3, is the Boomerang buyer. And that's not a buyer from Australia. That's a buyer that's come back into the marketplace because maybe they lost their home to short sale or foreclosure. And then, like, if you have a foreclosure, the repair process of your credit is somewhere between 5 and 7 years. And so the 7-year mark is approaching. So we're going to have this first wave of what we call the Boomerang buyers coming back in our marketplace right now. And because the recession was about 6-7 years long, we're going to have several waves of Boomerang buyers hitting the marketplace every year for the next 5 to 6 years. The next reason is dormant sellers. What a dormant seller is a seller that maybe hadn't heard the market's better, so they hadn't put their home on the market to look for another one. And then when they think of looking for another one, when they go out to look for the first time, they see there's not much inventory, so they just freeze. They don't take action because they're afraid that they're going to not be able to find another home to move to. Next is the market has gone up across the board. So a short time ago, the seller of a home might actually be underwater. In other words, have negative equity. They didn't have enough equity to move on to the next house. Now, what's happened is, as prices have gone up across the board, what some sellers have done is to decide not to come on the market just because the value of the homes they're trying to buy has gone up too. So they're staying even. So it's a little bit harder for them to decide to make the move, again, keeping their home off the market. Next is people are staying in their houses longer. Back when I first started real estate, it was kind of a common statistic, if you will, that people would stay in their home for 5 years and then move. Then it went up to 7 years, and now it's more like 10 to 15 years that people are staying in their homes. So again, if they're staying in their homes longer, their homes are not coming onto the market, and again, keeping inventory low. New household formation. New household formation is happening at a very rapid rate today, and part of it is because during the recession, people teamed up. They had roommates with each other. Kids stayed in their parents' houses because it was difficult for them to go out and buy a new house. Now, in combination with lower interest rates, employment being better, they can get a job, pay a lower interest rate, and they actually move out of the parents' basement into a new home, again, creating more demand on the current housing that's out there. Number 8 is people are living longer and staying in their homes with elder services. An example is that my mom, who's 93, does not want to move out of her home that she's been in over 60 years. So that type of person is hiring help to keep them in their house. Again, when they do that, their home doesn't come on the market and keeps inventory low. Next item is better employment numbers. When you look at across the nation, employment is very good compared to during the recessionary years. And in Colorado, it's even better. And even in Boulder, in our local market, it's even better than that. So the employment level is at a very good level for people able to have a job and buy a home. Next reason is that low interest rates have been a boom for buyers. And I look back over my career, interest rates were clear up to 16% at one time. Now they're in the high 3s, low 4s. So the opportunity for people to buy homes because of the low interest rate is just amazing compared to any time in the last 35 to 40 years. Again, that's a force taking more homes off the market because more people can buy them and be a buyer rather than a renter. In Colorado, reason number 11 is our marijuana laws. One of the things that we've seen with the new marijuana laws is people have moved to Colorado just for those laws. And then also because of those laws, the employment has been good. There's more jobs in the industry. Retail space has filled up, and even warehouse space for the grow rooms and such. So it's put pressure on both commercial space and also residential space. Now, as more states get lax in their marijuana laws, if you will, I think that we'll see that the effect of marijuana that Colorado's laws has take a little bit of a break as far as how it affects real estate in the future. Next is the construction defect law in Colorado. The construction defect law in Colorado has made it very difficult, or actually made builders very nervous to build condominiums for resale in our state because of the ability of the homeowners associations to sue the builder if anything goes wrong. And so as you drive around the Front Range, you'll see a lot of complexes that look like they could be condos, but they're actually apartment buildings. Those have been built and kept by the builders as apartments because they do not want to sell them as condos. So one thought on the construction defect law is that 7 years down the road, when these laws expire, in other words, the homeowners association won't be able to sue the builder as easily, then those could be converted to condos at that time. Kind of the general thought that I've heard, though, is a lot of these builders are so excited about the cash flow that these complexes are created that there's a smaller chance that they convert those to condos. So down the road, we could see either glut of condos or absolutely no more condos built. So when you look at the statistics relative to how many condos are available, it's pretty tough for a first-time buyer to get a condo now just because the supply is so limited. The 13th reason that inventory is so low is what happened back in 1996. Back in 1996, it went from a market where you used to have to buy up when you bought a personal residence in order to avoid capital gains tax. The current law says that you can exclude $250,000 worth of gain if you're a single person and $500,000 gain if you're a married couple. So what happens on this, especially in a market that's fairly high priced like Boulder, is that when there's a couple and the spouse that is going to survive decides to not sell their house until the first spouse dies. And the reason for that is they get what's called a stepped-up basis. And when you get a stepped-up basis, then you might be able to keep your tax liability within those $500,000 or $250,000 limits, whichever applies. So what that does is it makes people wait till one of the couple dies in order to put the house on the market, rather than making a decision to move into an assisted living type thing. So again, one more reason it's a little tighter on inventory right now. Now, one of the things that we've been experiencing in Boulder, which is reason number 14, is what we call real estate utopia, or also known as the Google effect. So out in practice, when we listen to a lot of agents in our office, we're seeing that a lot of sellers aren't putting their house on the market this year, in other words, keeping inventory low, because they've been told that Google and such and other companies coming in are going to cause such price increases in Boulder that they might as well wait to sell it next year when they could get more money for it. Whether that's going to turn out to be true or not, it's hard to say, but again, it's one more reason that sellers are not putting their home on the market because they believe that to be true, therefore making less inventory available. So now when you look at all those things that we've discussed about why inventory is so low, I'm sure there's more, but in practice, those are all the things that have come up as part of the discussion, and that's quite a list for reasons why inventory is so low. As in any other cycle that we're in, we will, of course, see tight inventory for a while. My prediction is that we'll see tight inventory for about 4 to 5 more years. The builders will catch on, they'll overbuild, and then the cycles continue. Because in my 38 years of doing this, we've seen 4 or 5 major cycles, and it will cycle again. There's no way a market will continue to stay on a huge upswing in inventory shortage forever. Duane Duggan, Remix of Boulder Podcast, signing off.